Big win today, you guys. Big win. Leicester City made things very hard. Let's keep things real. This was a difficult game, and is this really any surprise? We play Leicester City how many times this season, and every single game has been of the same tactical nature. You have to realize that we're a team that attack down the flanks. Leicester City are a team that do the exact same thing, so it's only natural that when both these teams do meet, they are going to cancel each other out. So it makes the complexion of the game very different. Things do become more of an individual battle. And this is why I'm very impressed by our win today, because we got through this slogfest, we won this battle, and we finally got a win against Leicester City this season. It's an important one. We're through to the semi-finals, and after seeing this performance, after considering our performances over the past few games, let's go back before pre-lockdown. Everton wins, Liverpool wins, Man City wins, Leicester City wins too, you guys. Disregarding Everton for a second, that's 3 wins against big teams around us near the table. You guys, I feel very confident, I feel very optimistic at this point in time. I've got so many thoughts after this game, so I suggest that you stay right to the end. But before I continue on, you guys, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. Download the OneFootball app so you have the chance to vote for your man of the match. You can see who people are voting for. You can get a brief view of the tactics throughout the game. You can see the stats too, etc, etc. I call the app a companion app for a reason, because once you start using it, you can't stop, you guys. So if you want to chat out for yourselves, and why wouldn't you, you'll find a link below in the description. And obviously, you guys, we're through to the semi-finals, so I need to see big likes today. I'm going to be ambitious, and I'm going to go for 3,000 likes. So let's see if you guys can do that. Now, I think to start things off, I think we need to start with the lineup. Now, the lineup was a tiny bit surprising, not too surprising. You know, Gilmore was playing, that was great to see. Reece James returned to the team, and I'm going to speak about him soon. We saw Kante again in midfield, and Zuma played down the left-hand side of our defense with Caballero and goal. So we need to remember that for a lot of the players in the team, for a lot of the players starting in the game today, this was like their first proper start since the Premier League has restarted. So naturally, you know, I thought at times players were going to be a tiny bit rusty. Intensity in training and intensity in game are 2 completely different things. As the game was going on, you know, you could see that Leicester City's pressing, their intensity was very good. It seemed to catch out Billy Gilmore a few times, and to be honest, Gilmore's performance wasn't too impressive in that sense. Now, yes, as the game did go on, especially in the first half, he was starting to maybe get on the ball a bit, but I don't necessarily feel that he was following tactical instructions. It seems like his positioning on the field was maybe a bit too negative. He was placing himself in positions where, you know, they weren't the best to receive passes and do anything with. So it was no surprise that he got caught out, you know, quite often during the first half. But you guys, this is part and parcel of young players developing their game and getting better. It's not a smooth ride. They're not supposed to be perfect immediately. And this is an important learning curve for the player. It was obvious that Leicester were focusing their attacks down the left flank. Not really too much of a surprise. You know, we didn't see Ricardo Pereira playing for them, and we know that Leicester City like to use both flanks as they play. So really, that was their only go-to plan. Vardy making those runs in the channel down the left. So it was no surprise why, you know, we struggled to move the ball out from that side. You know, players like Reece James in particular, who Leicester City were targeting, and that was to make sure that he wasn't getting too much of the ball in the final thirds. And as I said at the beginning of this video, this is exactly how games have played out every time we've played Leicester this season. I think one thing that really helped us, and I think one thing that's helped us throughout the Premier League restart, is the water breaks. Now, we know that throughout the season, every game we play, we have nervy moments where the opposition team, you know, they have that momentum. They're bringing the game to us, and most times they tend to profit from that. So it feels like whenever these water breaks come, there's like an intensity restart. And after the first water break, I can imagine that the Leicester City players were starting to feel it a bit. You know, they were pressing really hard, moving upfield really fast too. But being a human being means that you can't keep up those efforts and those stamina levels for a very long time. Naturally, they tired, and when they tired, they moved back and kept their shape. So when that happened, that allowed us to get on the ball, and most importantly, we could start to find our attacking players in our Christian Pulisic and our Williams. Now in the first half, I thought that Ben Chilwell was quite decent. I thought he was one of the main reasons why Leicester were able to just like pen us back in our own half down the right hand side. He used his pace very well. I thought some of the passes that he chose in the build-up phase were very good too. And he was forcing Willian all the way back. He did seem up to it. I thought his performance was decent more in the first half compared to the second half. And it's no surprise why he's going to step up when Frank Lampard's there to see him play live. Anyway, you guys, I'm now going to move on to the second half because that's when things start to get a lot more exciting. And the major reason why the game turned in our favour in that second half was the substitutions that Frank Lampard made. Now, throughout the season, I felt like Lampard's choice, timing and use of his subs has been absolutely excellent. I've been saying in my predicted restart video too that we have options on the bench, meaning that Lampard has even more possibilities and solutions to find on field. As we've seen against Villa, Man City and against Leicester City, substitutions have always turned the game in our favour. The introduction of Kovacic and Barkley were key, and the main reason for that was that they brought that physicality, they brought that strength. And in the first half in particular, young Billy Gilmour was getting, out muscle countlessly. Mason Mount, he's a harrier, he's a fighter, but he's not necessarily the strongest. And when you're against guys like your Ndidis and your Tielemans, etc., well, it's only natural that you could miss out on that physicality battle. So when Kovacic came on, I was so impressed. He looked up for it. He looks hungry, and that's the Kovacic that I want to see. Now, as the season has restarted, I think that maybe it's taken him a bit longer to get fully back to speed, but in today's game, he was winning tackles. He was counter-pressing effectively. Some of the outrageous touches and skills and ability, that sauce he brings to the field, that sauce he brings to the pitch. He was very good, and he gave us like that impetus really to just like bring the attack even more against Leicester City. And I think this impetus too was matched by Ross Barkley. Now, as I've said throughout my channel for a very long time, I don't hate the player. I've categorically said this in videos. I don't hate him. I only hate poor performances. All you have to do to get me to change my opinion is play well, and because I'm fair, Ross Barkley's form does deserve credit. Since before the restart against your Evertons and your Liverpools, he stepped up then, and since football's come back, he's finally done something that he hasn't done for a long time and kept that momentum going. I thought his goal was excellent, and he fully deserved it because, when he made that introduction in the second half, he was matching that same intensity with Kovacic. He was bringing the attack, making those outfield runs down the right-hand side, getting in behind Chilwell, stretching that Leicester City defence. Great run too, and it was no surprise that his goal came from a similar move like that. Now with Ross, I'm not just going to praise him and not criticise him on the mistakes he made. In particular, his passing selection when it came to counter-attacks. Now at times, he was losing the ball in the final third, which is natural in a game like this, but that one counter-attack with like Ruben, I think Tammy, Pedro too, I think he had like 4 options in front. Ruben was the best one, but then he played a weak pass behind him with no weight, no anything. And when I saw that moment, I actually tweeted it because it just like literally was the perfect example of why we're making the signings we're making. This is the current level of this team. Of course, we can get the big wins now, but to win everything, to compete for everything, you need to have a team good enough to do that. If that was a Ziyech in that moment, there's no way in hell he's missing that pass. If we sign Kai, which could imply that Barkley's days would be numbered, there's no way in hell on this earth that he's messing up a pass like that. That is bread and butter for the player. And this is the type of quality that you need in the final third. How many counter-attacks do we waste, just do absolutely nothing with, not even get shots in the end? Seeing that we're working on solutions to just rectify these issues is getting me even more pumped and excited for next season, you guys. Like the level of football is going to be different level. Now, of course, I can't watch this game and not speak about Christian Pulisic. This boy is on fire right now. He is in the best run of form for a very long time. Wow, I mean, his silky elegance, the pure definition of elegance, his touches, the way he glides in that field. I know that he keeps getting compared to Hazard, and I think that's a bit unfair because I think Pulisic has his own style. I think it's a lot more fainter in that sense. His first touch is a bit like, has that slight crispiness, like that little bit of crispiness to his touch and to his dribbles and stuff like that. And yeah, as the game was going on, he was only getting better. Those runs, those cut insides, the nutmegs, the power shots against Schmeichel too. He seems very confident. He seems like he's ready to be one of the big boys of the team. Hey, it's exciting. Like, you guys know I love my visually elegant, smooth, silky players. They're the guys that make me fall in love in the game because they're the ones that tend to be the better players. When you can play like that, at this level, at this intensity, I think it sums up your class even more. And I'm just hoping that when he got subbed off, his injury isn't too severe. It's only like a small one. I don't want to see him get any more injuries because that's what's really affected this season. That momentum. So let's hope that's not the case, you guys. But you know, for the case of the sub that came on to replace him, Loftus-Cheek, I don't think we'll see him playing left wing for a long time. I think it's only circumstantial, so we have to bear with it for a bit. And I think at this point in time, he just needs to get minutes. You know, I've said it before, I was wrong. I was getting too gassed and hyped in the moment. But, you know, we have to be patient with Ruben and just allow him to fully recover his form. It could most realistically take until the next season. So I think that's what we have to accept, because he hasn't played football in 13 months. But anyway, you guys, that is going to be me for the day. Very happy about the win over Leicester. Very hard game. And it was the type of game that gave me that confidence, knowing that now in the semis, I feel like we can win the FA Cup. And if we do, this would be absolutely incredible. I think it would be fully deserved. And I think it would be the start of many great things to come. So on that note, you guys, thank you for watching. I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll see all of you later again with the player ratings video. So see you soon.